राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा, कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे राम, राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा, कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे राम, राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम, राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम, राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे राम, राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम, राम राम हरे हरे, जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा, जय प्रभुपदा, जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा, जय गुरुदेवा, निताय गौर हरि बोल Hari bol nitai gaura hari bol nitai gaura hari bol hari bol nitai gaura hari bol. हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय, समस्त भक्त वृंद की जय. हरे कृष्णा, दंडवत प्रणाम.
Hare Krishna, Jai. Very nice, Mataji. Thank you so much. We welcome Hare Purnandini Madhvi Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Pranam. Yeah, Mataji, over to you, Mataji. You can unmute.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, Mataji, I didn't realize.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah. Mataji, you would be able to share the screen? Or you
is anyone here? No. It's okay, Mataji. Is anyone here who can share?
I'm on laptop, Mataji. I can share. No problem.
Yeah, you can share, Mataji. Deepa Mataji, yeah? Yeah. From 27th shloka, Mataji.
Okay, it is 2.9.27, right?
Yes.
27 to 30. Okay, we'll get started. Hare Krishna, welcoming you all for this daily morning Shrimad Bhagavatam class. It's really going to be a wonderful day. Sorry.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. So it's really going to be a wonderful day because I'm with all you wonderful devotees, and more so because we are going to read Shrimad Bhagavatam together. So it will be a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. So the Kirtan is done. So we'll start with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudire Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatam Aham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shlakaya Chakshurummilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Before we go to text 27 of chapter 9, canto 2, citing the what is the chapter title? Citing the
answers by citing the Lord's version.
Lord's version, Mataji.
Yeah, citing the Lord's version. So, what we just a quick brief of what we have seen till now. We have seen how Lord Brahma, after he was created, then how he hears just 2 syllables, ta, pa, and then he for 1,000 divine years he starts meditating, and then he can only hear the sound and but not hear anyone. Now this is a very important point. Srila Prabhupada time and again keeps saying we can see Krishna through our ears. So that is what Brahma did. You know, his Shravanam was so perfect that the Lord appeared. So that is how we have to follow the parampara. So, but and also because he was very pleased with Lord Brahma because of his penance, he says, Krishna says, I'm not different from penance. And then he grants him a benediction of to create, to create. So the concluding sloka of yesterday says how the Lord, Brahma is asking how Lord can assume a mundane form, although he is very transcendental. Right? This was a quick brief of what we have done till now. So we'll start with shloka 27 today. Yeah. Vasudha Mataji, please read the shloka, and Nirmala Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Yatatma maya yogena nana satyupa brahmitam vilumpan vishrajan grihnan bibrad atmanam atmana.
Thank you, Mataji. Nirmala Mataji can read the translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And please inform me how you, by your own self, manifest different energies for annihilation, generation, acceptance, and maintenance by combination and permutation. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay, so
Thank
in
you.
the purport, if we see, I mean, like this, he's asking how you're manifesting, how you're creating and everything. Okay, if we see the first shloka of Ishopanishad, it says, Isha Vasamidam Sarvam. Okay, and then in the chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu. So these shlokas especially kind of say, whatever we see, whatever we perceive, or whatever we feel is direct, everything is a manifestation of the Lord and his different energies. Okay, now there are a list of 16 energies. I came across this somewhere. I'll just read out the list. What are the different kind of energies that the Lord has? Okay, yeah, the energies of the Lord. One is the all pervasive energy. The next one is the power and prowess energy. Then the Shri energy, the knowledge Shakti energy, beauty energy, fame energy, renunciation or Tushti Shakti, Ila Shakti or the earth potency, it says, Urja or the vigor Shakti, Vidya or the skill potency, Mahamaya energy, Yogamaya energy, Kal Shakti, Vibhuti Shakti, Jiva Shakti, and the most important and the only one, and the only one which we really need is the Kripa Maharani, Radharani Shakti, or the mercy Shakti. Now, so all the work that is done, when all the work is, whatever is done, whatever is created or maintained, it of course definitely emanates from Krishna, but then it is done through these various energies. Now, so Brahma, he was so pleased with Brahma. Of course, Lord Brahma had the desire to create. So in the mode of, passion, the Lord, kind of Brahma is the personified mode of passion of the Lord, so that he can create. And then Vishnu in the mode of goodness maintains, and we know Lord Shiva in the mode of ignorance, he destroys or annihilates. Now, this best example of when Hiranyakashipu, asked Prahlad, where do you get all your energy from? Where are you getting all your, energy or this thing to rule? Or no, he's asking Prahlad Maharaj, like, you're so confident, where are you? So Prahlad says, wherever you are getting that energy, I am also getting that energy. So the source of energy is same for everything, irrespective of the work that is done. So, and also we have heard in Brahma Samhita, Ishvaraha Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Sarva Karana Karanam. Okay. So in spite of being all this, he's creating, he's maintaining, he's overseeing, he's the witness, Anumanta, Upadrashta, everything is there. Then yet he is different from all these activities. Very beautifully in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains this. Yet he is different. Now, if we quickly try to take an example and understand, it will be a little more easier. Now, a child, is a child different from the parent? Any answers? Is a child different from the parent? Yes or no?
No, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Some are saying yes, some are saying no. Which
Yes
answer
and
is
no,
right?
both, Mataji.
Yes and no both.
Yes.
Yes and no both. So when something mundane, in a mundane relationship, it can be yes and no. Then how can it not be with the Supreme Lord? He has created. It can be an yes and no. Has he created? Yes. Is he in this? No. So it's an yes and no. So that's why now that is how Lord Brahma is asking, you have created all this, you have a mundane form. How do I understand all this? So he's praying. So in the further shlokas, these aspects are a little more dealt with, which we will see. And then how do we understand this? We can understand this only by the mercy of the Guru. So let's all pray to the Guru Parampara and then try to understand this aspect from the next shloka. Yes. Text 28, Anasuya Mataji will read and Deepa Mataji will read the translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Kridasya amoga sankalpa purnanabhiryaton nute tatha tad vishayam dehi manisha mayi madhava. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. O Master of all energies, please tell me philosophically all about them. You play like a spider that covers itself by its own energy, and your determination is infallible. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, on a very mundane level, if we relate, that's how we can understand. If we take a little examples of how we are dealing with day to day. Okay, when we see a very powerful or influential person, we understand that. Say he's a owner of a big company. Okay, now when we see such a person, we think that he's controlling everything. Yes, in one sense, he is controlling in the aspect of as regards to his company. Even that is limited. But anyway, just for discussion's sake, right? So he is a controller in his own sphere. Okay. And now with this understanding, let's extrapolate the Lord as supreme controller. Everything works under his direction, but he is not bound by any of his energy or creation, is what the purport of the shloka is. Now this owner of a company, that example that we took. Now say suppose he makes a rule. He makes a rule that everybody should come by 8 o'clock, to the office, to the factory 9 o'clock or whatever. Now it need not necessarily apply to him. It doesn't necessarily apply to him because he may have other things, or because he is the owner, he can come at any time and walk out at any time. The rule what he has made for the employees, everybody below him, need not apply for him. Now for a mundane person like that, if the rules don't apply, then what to talk of the supreme controller? Now this owner of a company is not completely independent, because he is under the influence of the three modes. He is under the influence of the three kleshas, adhyatmika, adi daivika, adi bhautika, and all that. And then he's also influenced by birth, death, old age, disease, and all that. So if but still he's a controller, Isha, small, a controller in a small way. So now we are talking of the supreme controller who has made the rules, who has made creation, who has made everything. So he can be above it. He is above it. It is only left to us to understand and accept that the Lord is above all, above everything. That is why the word, if you, the first shloka of Shrimad Bhagavatam, Tene Brahma Hudaya Adi, Swarat, one word Swarat comes. Actually, I heard in another pravachan I heard, they said there is no equivalent word as such in English. The word Swarat, independence, is applied, can be applied only to Krishna, because he is supremely independent. Rest, all of us are completely dependent on him or his energies. So, and then a beautiful example of the spider. The spider, if you read the purport, Srila Prabhupada saying, the spider creates a web, and then, and then it is there till the time it wants. It doesn't get entangled in the web, though there is some insect which gets caught in the web, it goes to eat it. It doesn't get, the spider doesn't get entangled in the web like the other insects. And then when it is done with it, it takes all of that and puts it inside its stomach. The small spider, why can't the Lord do it? Is it so difficult for us to assimilate this or understand? Now we may understand. Now, what is the importance is, first step is to understand. Yes, now we are all here because we understand. We want to understand more. Very good, very good. But the next step is, how do we apply this day in and day out, or every moment, as we'll see. And in the conclusion of the this purport of this thing, Srila Prabhupada says, engaging in devotional service, guided by the disciplic succession, especially to the Guru, we can understand this. That is what, 10.10, Bhagavad Gita 10.10, Dadami Buddhi Yogam. Krishna says, Dadami Buddhi Yogam. I am going to give you that intelligence. For what? To understand all these things. When does this happen? Preeti Purvakam. The starting of the shloka says, when you worship me, Preeti Purvakam. Right? Now, any relationship, if somebody is very sweet to us, right, we'll go out of the way to do anything. Actually, I think some few years ago, I think it was Bhakti Vinod Maharaj, during this, what is that, February 14th? What day? Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day, he, there was a video that he shared, which was circulating. He said, why is love blind, right? And then there was a research which says there is a chemical, if somebody is in love with another person, there is a chemical that is produced, okay? And then no matter what wrong the person you are loving does, that chemical is in such a way that you just tend to ignore it. There is a certain, this was a scientific research, and then he made it during the and then it was so beautiful, So that's how, when Dadami, when somebody is loving us so much, then we'll go out of the way to do anything. Where are we getting all this from? Of course, it is Sarva Karana Karanam. It is coming from Krishna. So what does Krishna want? He has created everything. He has created the universe. He has given us food, water, air, life, body, whatever he wants. What is it that he wants? What is it that he doesn't have? He only doesn't have mine and your heart. If you give your heart to him, then he will give himself to us. He promises the gopis. He tells Mother Yashoda, demigods, everybody is wondering, what have you done in so many lifetimes that everybody is running behind Krishna, but Krishna is running behind you. Like Krishna is, wants to be with you. Why? Only because the Preeti Purvakam. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. Bhakti is nothing but Preeti. Very rhyming words. So, and then how do we understand all this? If we think, or if we are in the illusion or in the confusion that I am going to read, I am going to understand, then it's time to take away that illusion or this thing, because in Shvetashvatara Upanishad, very beautifully it says, I'm going to read this shloka. Yasya deve para bhakte yata deve tata guru tasyaite katita hiyatta prakashante mahatmanaha. Shvetasvatara Upanishad 6.23. Unto one who has unflinching devotion to the Lord and to the spiritual master does transcendental knowledge become automatically revealed. It is not going to be understood by my tiny 250-gram gray matter. No. Tadviddi pranipatena pariprashnena se upadekshyanti te gnanam gnaninas tattvadarshina. He knows the gnana, and then what? Pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. If you serve the spiritual master, you serve the Vaishnavas, that is when the import of all this is going to be revealed to us. Not even understand. If you read carefully Srila Prabhupada, the purports, it says it is going to be revealed, not understood. There is a difference there. So if these things we want to understand, or if we want Krishna to reveal to us, then all we have to do is Preeti Purvakam, right? So we will go to the text 29. Shanti Mataji will read the shloka and Prashanti Mataji will read the translation. Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Bhagavachikispitam aham karavani hidadriyat neha mana praja sargam adyeyam yadanugrahat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, you got muted. Shanti Mataji.
Please tell me so that I may be taught in the matter by the instruction of the personality of Godhead and may thus act instrumentally to generate living entities without being conditioned by such activities.
Okay. I hope, no, not perfect, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you,
I
Mataji.
hope we are talking, we are saying Jai Srila Prabhupada, because I couldn't hear that. Probably it was a net issue. When we are reading the translation and purports, we have to remember
I told Mataji, maybe
if devotees are missing out, kindly keep a note. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So here, Lord Brahma is saying, I don't want to speculate. Now let's see the position of Brahma. Brahma is first of all called Aja. Somebody. He is born in such a fantastic way. What does it fantastic way means? He is born just by only from the navel of the Lord. Mother Lakshmi was not even involved. So that is something very divine. Next, he got direct instruction from Krishna, right? Then he saw Krishna, and then the shloka says he shook hands. He's shaking. If somebody has to shake hands, that means it must be very, very dear. Krishna, even just for a second, stop all the thoughts and think, if Krishna is shaking hands with us, how does it feel? It's difficult to think how it feels. So we are talking of somebody, and then he is Chaturmukha Brahma. What is Chaturmukha Brahma? Each Veda, from each place, one Veda is coming. You might be wondering what I'm trying to say. What am I glorifying Brahma? It has a purpose. Brahma, I gave an exalted position of Brahma. And what is this Brahma saying? He says, Lord, I don't want to speculate. Can you please tell me, how am I supposed to do this? In a very humble disposition. Now, this speculation is a very dangerous aspect, even on the mundane level. We keep thinking maybe that person said this, will do this, and then we get into a wrong conclusion. There's a beautiful example. I mean, I read about this, and it is very nice to understand how speculation can be so half-baked. Okay, there was a seminar of top doctors, specialized doctors, right? There was this, it so happened the orthopedic, the orthopedic, a psychiatrist and neurologist, okay, they wanted to take a break from during the break time, and so there was a cafe kind of thing there, and then they were sitting and having their coffee, tea, or whatever, and then this cafe had a glass door, right? And now we are talking of people who are, experts in each of them, their subjects. So we can understand how their egos are. Generally, I'm talking, I'm not, saying everybody are like that, but the story, the analogy goes like this. So they see a person walking across, okay, they see a person walking across, and then they see him limping. Now all their antennas are up, the orthopedic says, looking, see, definitely he has this bone, he gives big names and blah blah, doctors, we are talking of doctors, and then he says that it must be a problem with the bone of this leg and blah blah. Then the neurologist says, no, from the way I can see and with my experience, it must be the problem of the nerves, that nerve, this nerve. So the psychiatrist said, why should I be left behind? He said, no, he's perfectly fine. There's only psychological problem, nothing. So the discussion, the up and down arguments go for some time. Then they say, okay, let's go and ask him. So all the three of them go to that person, and then they say, what is and then each of them say, maybe this is your problem, this is your problem, let us help you. That man looks at the three of them, he looks up and says, look, my chappal is broken, so I am limping. I don't know what you guys are saying. This is how speculation is. So we should never speculate, right? So I mean, I gave this example to understand how dangerous it is to speculate. So Brahma is saying, I don't want to speculate. And then, so, and being the servant, our constitutional position, being a servant, what is the work of a servant? Always ask, Master, shall I do this? Master, shall I do this? Do that. So in the same way, Brahma is saying, you please kindly tell me. Otherwise, I can be lost. I can be bewildered. Bewildered by what? By Maya. With our sadhanas, when we are doing our sadhanas, we water the bhakti lata bija. The creeper of bhakti, devotion, is watered. But at the same time, because we are so conditioned, because we are in touch with this mundane world, we, without us realizing, we also water the weeds. And then both of them look very same. There is a weed that is grown in the rice crops. It looks exactly like the rice crop. So the same way, what are the weeds that we are talking about in bhakti? Okay, it can be ego. No, it can be, I mean, like, I can say what I experience can be ego. You can think I'm doing so well, I can talk so well, I can do this, or it can be greed, or it can be to get fame, all these different things. Now, when I'm dealing with my own mind or my own self, every time I will think I'm right, I'm perfect, right? I will not be able to recognize these weeds. Now, who will recognize these weeds? That is where the association of devotees come, associating with senior devotees. And then they are chastising, they are seeing, chastising in the sense, either directly or indirectly, they are they are correcting us, they are able to recognize. That's how we we can see what the other person is doing wrong. The same way, the guru or his representatives or our senior Vaishnavas, they are able to recognize this and correct us. Now there is another way of also understanding and getting correcting this. That is through the Paramatma in the heart. The Paramatma in the heart can also give directions to tell us that what we are doing is right or wrong. Now, first of all, are we 100% convinced that Paramatma is there in the heart? Okay. If we are convinced, that is the first step. Next step, how do we know it is the Paramatma speaking to me or the mind speaking to me? Right? So that is why it is said very mercifully, the Lord, as Paramatma who is in the heart, manifests as the spiritual master externally, and the spiritual master plays this role. That is why it is very important that we always constantly we are hearing and acting on the words of the spiritual master. And then how can and then what is the difference? What are we saying? Spiritual master, pure devotee, and all that. See, plenty of times we might have heard, if you're reading the Leelamrita or many other disciples who are directly initiated by Srila Prabhupada, there are so many instances where it bewilders us. How does that person, how did Prabhupada know? Like, there are two quick instances I remember of Srila Prabhupada. One was when Srila Prabhupada, among, I think, more than 20,000 people, Srila Prabhupada recognized His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj. He called him. He was sitting in that lecture, particular where when Srila Prabhupada was giving lecture, he was sitting way back, and Srila Prabhupada calls him, and then he initiates him and other things. Now, among the 20,000 people or whatever number, even if it is 1,000 people, right? Why did he call? How did Srila Prabhupada know? This is one example. The other example, see, most of the times I remember the examples and I tend to forget where and all that. Once, when Srila Prabhupada was touring the world, he goes to one particular temple, and there's this couple who are mostly devotee couple who are in the temple who are mostly cooking. But that particular instance, they saw there is no dress for Tulsi Maharani, and they were bad. They're very bad at stitching, like me. You give me something to stitch, and like it'll be a joke. So, but then their only intention was that Prabhupada has said Tulsi Maharani should have a dress, and they somehow managed to stitch a dress and tie it around Tulsi Maharani. And they get laughed at, rebuked at from all the other devotees for doing that. And then, so they when I heard this incident or I read it, they're in tears. But then they just left it at that, But they said, okay. But they were really hurt because their intention was to just follow the instructions of the Guru. Srila Prabhupada comes next day. He arrives from wherever to this particular temple. He walks in. The first thing he walks in, Srila Prabhupada says, "Oh, what a beautiful Tulsi Maharani dress." They are like, they don't know what to say. Now, how did Srila Prabhupada know? See, the pure devotees, they are so pure, they only talk, they only hear what the Paramatma is saying. We are so pure with Maya, we are only hearing what our mind says. That is how the Paramatma works. He is constantly giving. He is the witness. He is the Anumanta Upadrashta. He is giving. But then we are so busy with our mundane mind that we don't. That is why, following the instructions of the Guru helps, because they are only speaking what the Paramatma is guiding them. Yeah. So that is how serving the devotees, serving the Guru, what happens? All the anarthas that is there. It keeps on reducing. Okay. And then no matter how stupid or foolish, or I may even feel very intelligent or very, I know everything, all that is gone. That anartha nivritti happens when we follow the instructions of the Guru and by doing devotional service. So that is how, see, this aspect of devotional service, serving, service basically is so exalted, and it is so deluding, or it is so difficult to understand, that the Lord Krishna himself had to come at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to understand, what is this Radharani, feeling so much of bliss, so much of happiness. I want to know. He comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Radharani and wants to serve, and try to understand what is there so much joy to serve rather than be served. Now at the present moment, we are all very happy when somebody serves us, right? But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying more than that is to serve with lot of love is what gives more joy. So I would just, as a afterthought, I would want to know, you can all raise your hands either on this thing. How many of us want to follow the Guru Parampara? How many of us want the mercy of Guru? It's very, very, that's the only thing that is going to take us forward in our journey of spiritual life. Very happy to see most of you, I think. I can see few of them. Yeah, that's 15, 16 among the 43 participants. Probably the others also have raised their hands. I will take it as that. It's very nice. So let's go to the last shloka of today. Shloka 30. Yeah, 30. Yes. Divya, no, Anita Mataji can read. Sudha Mataji can read the translation. There are two more Matajis. Probably some Bhagavad Gita books, if you have, I can, when they say, if you can read them, that will be your participation. If it is there. For now, Anita Mataji will read the shloka.
यावत् सकासक्तरिवेशते कृतः प्रजा विसर्गे विभजामि भोजनम् अविक्लवस्ते परिकर्मणि स्थितो मामे समुत्नधा मदोजमानिनः. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila
Mataji,
Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Sudha Mataji will read the translation. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Oh my Lord, the unborn, you have shaken hands with me just as a friend does with a friend, as if equal in position. I shall be engaged in the creation of different types of living entities, and I shall be occupied in your service. I shall have no perturbation, but I pray that all this may not give rise to pride, as if I were the supreme. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Brahma, even though he's so qualified, in that Sampradaya, Brahma Sampradaya, when he came, Lord himself came, Krishna appeared in this particular millennium we are talking about. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also appeared. And then the Lord is shaking hands with him. Now, when do we shake hands with anybody? When we are almost on the equal status kind of stuff, right? So the Lord is so pleased with Brahma. And what did Brahma do? Did he say, I have so much money, I'm going to give you, I am so knowledged, I'm going to give you the knowledge, and then did he say all that? No. In fact, I was just reading the previous translations. He is so pleased with Brahma's penance. Krishna is saying, I am that penance that you perform. I am the penance. I am that austerity. Right? So, but in spite of all that, Lord Brahma is saying, oh my Lord. He's saying, oh my Lord. Now, when do we say that, oh my Lord? When we are accepting authority, when we are accepting superiority. Until the Vishwarupa Darshana happened, Arjuna said, oh, my friend is this. Of course, he takes a humble position of being a disciple and wanting to be instructed by Krishna, but still, only after he says he sees Vishwarupa Darshana, he says, "Oh, what a fool I have been! I'm calling you Sakethi, I'm calling you Yadava, I'm saying do this, do that for me. I asked you to take my rath here and there." The reality hits Arjuna. So the Brahma also there also Arjuna says, "Oh my God, you are you are the supreme person." So Brahma is first of all understanding the position of his own self, that he is just an instrument in the Lord's hand, right? So now, why are we trying to reiterate this? Now, when we are doing anything at all, we may think it is small or big, not necessarily on the spiritual aspect. Now, say I'm speaking, right? I'm speaking now. The Lord has granted me to speak, and then I'm speaking. This moment, if the Lord decides, enough, you spoke too much, and he decides, finished, it just stops. The same way, you are all hearing. You are able to hear because the Lord is sanctioned for you to hear. Right? And then if he thinks, you heard enough, then he will just take away that aspect. Or there can be some distraction, some call can come, somebody has come, if some of you are hearing from the house, whatever it is, we think it's a distraction, but then there can be some aspect then that we missed out, because the Lord at that moment, for whatever reason, let's not get into the reason. So I'm saying this is every moment, every second, everything, whether we are awake, we are sleeping, we are eating, whatever we get, it is all through the Lord's sanction. He is the controller, and that is what Lord Brahma is saying here. That that is the tapas. That is the actual tapas. Not that tapas means penance means. I think in Himalayas, yogi sitting with long beard for thousands of years. Yes, that is also tapas. But if he is sitting there, he is doing all the tapas and he is thinking, "Oh, wow, wonderful! For 1,000 years I have done the tapas. It is gone. I can still be at home. I can still be at office. And then if I have this mood that I am being controlled, or Krishna is sanctioning, that is the tapas. It's, every time we have to, if we have seen the puppet shows, the unseen threads, the thread is almost unseen as audience, right? And you have that puppeteer on the top, moving his fingers and controlling the puppets. So you see those threads from Krishna. Matta parataram nanyata. I am the thread holding everything, he says, 7.7. There's nothing beyond me. I am that thread where everything is resting on me, he says, 7.7. So that is what Lord Brahma is trying to tell here, that though you have given me this benediction to create, right? Please let me not become proud of it. If I become proud, then what happens? Pride goes before a fall. Umpteen examples. Daksha Prajapati was very proud. I am father-in-law of Shiva. I am superior to Shiva. Then yes, that head only was gone. He got a goat's head. Durvasa Muni thought, I am Brahmana. How could you take a sip of water before feeding me? He had to run up to Vaikunta. He went to Lord Narayana also. Narayana said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I cannot do anything." Then he had to come back, and then he falls. He does Danda Pranam to Amrish Maharaj. And then, that is when the chakra goes back. And then Indra, poor Indra. So many examples that when he is proud, how he falls down. So All of us are also like this. Say, suppose we cooked something nice, or did a nice, did some work in office very nicely. It's instant. It's like spontaneous. Like if we touch fire, how we take off the hand, it's spontaneously. Oh, I did it so nicely. Right? Now, how to beat this down? Every time, how to beat this down? The easiest way Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, do Sankirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now, how does this help? Because what is the meaning of Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Lord, please engage me in your service. And the moment we think of Lord, oh, he is the supreme controller. He has benedicted me with this, or he has taken away this from me because it is for my own good. So that then at least, we are going to practice day in and day out, every moment, that I'm taking a humble position. We can also become very proud saying I'm very humble. That also we have to deal with. That pride, that Maya, she has amazing ways of trying to catch us in different ways, right? So very easy, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, just dance, do kirtan and eat prasadam. Oh, is that enough? Yes, definitely enough. Because first of all, Krishna has said it. I mean, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said it. So then, okay, even after that you have questions, try it out. Try it out for a week. If those who are not chanting, chant 1 or 2 rounds for a week and see how things are more conducive, how things are more easier. Then why does that happen? Because the Lord is sanctioning it. So there was one Pandal program, when I was listening to a lecture about this particular shloka, very beautifully His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj was saying, one Pandal program, this Pandal program, when Prabhupada was invited, it was a Pandal program of Mayavadis. Everybody was with a different kind of, the other way of because being Mayavadis. And then all of them spoke for hours. Each speaker there was speaking for hours. And then the Pandal program he was mentioning had thousands of people, and then half of them were sleeping. Because, retention, Shravanam 40 minutes. If you see, school period is 40 minutes. But beyond that, we are conditioned that way. So then the last return came to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada had gone with all his foreign devotees, and along with Saraswati, who was a small girl then, Srila Prabhupada did not speak anything. All he said was, when his turn came, he told all these devotees, he called them white elephants, dancing white elephants. He said, do kirtan and dance. The moment they started that, all the Mayavadi leaders left. But then there was tremendous joy among the attendees there. All those who were sitting, attending the Pandal program, they also started dancing and chanting, and all of them were awake at least. And then in the end, he said, because Tamal Krishna Maharaj was there with Srila Prabhupada, first-hand information he's giving. He said, at the end, for 2 minutes, Srila Prabhupada said, you all are wondering how did I do any magic? Because all of them were white, some of them from America, from Europe and different places, and then they are all seeing them wearing dhoti, and then with tilak, and then and this baby Saraswati, that small kid, she is dancing, and then she's so ecstatic and all that. So Prabhupada says, I didn't do any magic. All I told them was to chant, and this is the result. You are seeing the result. So please chant, and you will see the result for yourself, right? So the main aspect of what Brahma is saying is that I am not the doer. In fact, Narad Muni comes and says, oh, you are supreme. And then Brahma, he's giving an answer. He's telling him, no, I am not the doer. Okay, I am not the doer. I am only the instrument. The doer is already the as per the Jivatma's karma, I'm only giving their bodies. That body, whatever, they're coming with their karmas, I'm giving the body. The Atmas are already created by the Lord. It is already existing. So I'm only an instrument. And then the last example of how Krishna is the supreme, how he is the doer. Arjuna, his Gandiva bow and other things, he was, though he was not as powerful in the warfare as Bhishma and Drona, but nobody could defeat him. As long as Krishna was with him, nobody could, even throw an arrow on him. I mean, nobody could hurt him even. After Krishna leaves, okay, he was given the duty of to bring the queens. And when he's bringing the queens, small, like roadside thieves kind of stuff, he could not even protect the queens from them. Now, it was not that Arjuna was proud or anything, that emphasizing the point, without Krishna, everybody is Shunya. It is another matter whether I accept or not accept. That is another matter. But the reality is, we are nothing without Krishna. And everything is coming from Krishna, right? So this aspect, like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj always says, even Srila Prabhupada in his poem says, make me dance, right? So our mood, our meditation, man mana bhavat bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame veshyasi tvaivam atmanam atparan. Always think of me, Krishna is saying. Always worship me. Always pay obeisances to me. Now, if I do all this, how am I going to do all the other work? That is what Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha. He did not say, okay, you leave your work and do meditate on me. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha. Actually, give it a try. Every work you do, somehow or the other. See now, I keep repeating this. When we are doing any work, now currently I'm doing this. I'm trying to explain something. But at the back of my mind, my mind is running. After this, I have to do this. I have to do this evening, right? All of us go through this. So I always say, when that thing at the back of my mind, if it can be replaced with Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then you can see, every moment you can see the magic. Like how, everything becomes so easy, everything becomes so joyful, and nothing is mundane, because everything is spiritualized, because you're just following the instructions. You're following the instruction of Krishna. Not once. This shloka is so dear to Krishna, he is given it in the 18th chapter also, with a small change in the second line. Man mana bhavat. Always think of me. We are always thinking of something or the other. And the danger is anything else other than Krishna, if you think. Anything else, it is binding. It is sowing another seed. For what? Janma mrityu jara vyadhi, another birth. Anything else we think it is just binding me. But you think of Krishna, then Yoga Kshemam Vahamyam says, I am going to personally take care of you. What else do we want? We have the supreme person who is the most beautiful, who is the most powerful, who is the most intelligent, and and who is the renounced. I mean, he will not have to do anything with how it is going and things like that. He's the most renounced. We have somebody like that guiding us. What more do we want? Only thing is saying, think of me always. Okay. So the gist of the 4 shlokas is that we are not the doer. We are only the instrument, right from Brahma. So that is the aspect that comes out in this 4 shlokas as what with little my brain I could understand and I have shared. I'm very thankful to all of you for the patient hearing. And of course, if there's anything that all of you think that you have taken away something from this, is just the mercy of my Guru Maharaj. Because my Shiksha Guru said, when you are getting praises, it is like poison. Okay. So because it gives rise to pride. So anything good that is coming, it is immediately has to be transferred off, because it transferred off to the Guru, because it is coming from the Guru, right? So, and of course, being a conditioned soul, I will need all your prayers to improve myself. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare
Thank you so much,
Krishna,
Mataji. Wonderful
Mataji.
session, Mataji.
Hare
Very nice.
Krishna
Mataji, I think Radhika Mataji has one question.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much for.
One
Yes,
second.
sure, Prabhu. Go ahead. I'll take it up next.
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, what you have told, we have heard till. I do agree. Everything is we have agreed. Everything from Sri Krishna only. Only the thing is, after our classes, we have to go to our regular duties.
Correct.
If you go there,
okay,
you will face so many problems.
Correct.
In society, particularly nowadays, the politicians and then influenced people were us, and they were commanding us like anything. But in that stage, is it possible? It is very difficult for us to survive. So, even though we were chanting, we were listening, everything is going on. Even though if we enter into right from this step of even a single step from my house, we will see the disturbances, how their influences were going on.
Correct.
So common people, it is very difficult to survive in this society, is it not? It is my opinion. Of course, I am around 70 now. I struggle a lot. Even now I am saying. So I want some clarification at your end. How we survive in this society.
Okay.
I do agree. We used to up to our living the classes. Definitely, we were in Krishna consciousness. So we won't think anything else other than that. If we go out, problem arises. So how we have to come out from this? Your consult has told that. So please chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. I know you are also doing that. Our influence is, their influence is more than us.
Okay. So very good aspect. I mean, I hope I will be able to do some justice for Prabhu's question. It is a problem for all of us. First of all, Prabhu, if we follow instructions, first thing is we have been told that if we can chant 16 rounds in the Brahma before in the Brahma Muhurta time, wake up and chant.
Yes,
okay?
I am doing.
Very good. So that is like a kavach for us every day immunization, right?
Yes.
And the next aspect is you're saying after the class, we are into this mundane world, right? Yes. Now, you gave an example of politicians. Let's not go up to politicians, even at home. Okay, we are not able to do things or things don't happen as per our this thing. Okay, you forget even that. Take our individual self. My heart says one thing, my mind says one thing. I'm not able to decide, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
So we are seeing our limitations. So that is why I said we have to always think of Krishna. This is all these things comes from the mind. This problem is coming from the mind. And Krishna, I'm going to answer you through Bhagavad Gita shlokas, right?
Yes, I do.
Krishna in 6.34, Krishna says, Arjuna is saying, Arjuna who is such a great warrior saying, Chanchalam hi manah Krishna, pramati balavad drudam tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva su dushkaram. For the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. O Krishna, and to subdue it, I think, is more difficult than controlling the wind. See, wind is not even seen. He's saying, I can control the wind, but I cannot control the mind. So Krishna is answering in 6.35. Next shloka. Shri Bhagavan uvacha asamshayam mahabaho manodur nirgraham chalam abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena ch grihyate. Lord Krishna says, O mighty son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by suitable practice and detachment. So what is the practice? First of all, let us understand we are out to change the world, which is an impossible task. At least that is what, even I was in that kind. If that person is like this person is like this, the politician is like this. Okay, I'm aware of the problem, but can I give a solution? I should have that viveka. I should have that this thing. What is it that I can change? What is it that I cannot change? Now, I have my nose is like this. Can I change anything about it? No. But if I accept it, that is so. Instead of thinking that I can change the world, the moment I say, I can change myself, I can work on myself. If we can do that, then all the other things are automatically taken care. Can we change anybody else other than us? It is so difficult to change us only.
I do agree.
So, what is the change I have to bring about myself? Now I'm attending these classes, I'm chanting, I know I'm an instrument, I know what I can do first. So I should chant, and you are saying, Prabhu, you are 70 years, all this is immaterial for you. Now there should be nothing else in your mind other than Krishna, because you have lived your life, you have given your whatever services to your family, to the country, to the society, done. Now it's time for you to just mana bhavad bhakto madhyaji mam, nothing else. You should be reading Bhagavatam, sleeping Bhagavatam, eating Bhagavatam, reading Bhagavatam, talking Bhagavatam.
Yes, definitely.
So you don't worry what the other person is doing. That is not in your hand or my hand. What is in my hand, what I can do. You just leave out. Can we do? Can I do anything? If the politicians are taking wrong decisions, can I do anything about it individually?
Not possible.
Can I do my chanting individually?
Definitely.
Do that.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Radhika here. Mataji, I have a general doubt. After reading Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, there's one thing which is not registering for me, or I'm not getting convinced, is, most of the places they say that when you do not have anything, you surrender to Krishna. Right? And you also concluded by telling a verse, sorry, I'm quoting your own statement for convenience, that, no matter how much people appreciate, I should stay down to earth. Like, I should not get carried away. I should take it as, so where I'm coming from is only when you have appreciation and if you stay down to earth, then it's great. So if somebody is not even appreciating you or somebody is criticizing you, then anyway, you will not go high. So where I'm coming from is when you have everything, you have money, you have beauty, you have job, you have family, you have everything, and then you look out for Krishna. Isn't that genuine love? Because this is what has been in my mindset. Because if I don't have anything and I look for Krishna, because they say that, when you don't have anything, you'll think more of Krishna. Then it's choicelessness, no, Mataji. So if I don't have anything, I will look. It's like many times we look at a very rich person or somebody with opulence, and we tell this person is very down to earth. But we don't look at a beggar until he's down to earth because we feel he's down. And I'm not trying to make a judgmental statement. So why is the Shastras generally saying, because we see Yudhishthira Maharaj, we see Ambarish Maharaj, who are also very renowned.
Hare Krishna. We lost her. Are others able to hear Mataji? Oh,
No, Mataji,
No,
we lost.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
Mataji.
can you hear me, Mataji?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Yes.
So sorry, Mataji. I don't know how much of mine you heard.
Yeah. Last 1-2 words.
Yeah, so Amrish Maharaj, Yudhishthira Maharaj were all having everything, no Mataji. They had beauty, name, fame, glory, strength, and still they gave everything and went. Won't that be called higher in terms of, reaching Krishna? Because leaving everything for Krishna, isn't that higher than not having anything and going to Krishna, Mataji? This is something which is a little confusing for me, if you can enlighten. I'm sorry, I'm taking a detour, and this is a summary of most of the classes of yours.
Okay. Akinchananam Mayi Bhakti Bhajam, Krishna says. Akinchana. Akinchana means not a beggar. Now a beggar, Prabhupada has, if you hear to the Prabhupada quotes this. He says that the cycle rickshaw fellow, he lives his day by, ferrying people in a cycle rickshaw, and probably 10 rupees maximum he will earn, and even that fellow is very proud. It is not the question of somebody being rich or poor. Okay. And the other aspect, I'm going to quote this probably will help you understand, what is it? What is humility? Humility doesn't mean I look down on myself. I'm not going to degrade, or I'm not going to be depressed. Humility means independently I'm useless. Dependently, I can achieve anything. Dependent on what? Dependent on Krishna. I can be rich, famous, beautiful, etc., whatever. That is not the question, right? If I understand that all this is coming and is dependent on Krishna's mercy, right? Then I will not be, proud. Otherwise, just because somebody doesn't have money, it's wrong to think that they are not proud. They can have higher egos without having anything. Yes, Shastra says Janma Ishwarya Shuta Shribir, in Kunti Maharani's prayers, and then Bhoga Ishwarya Prasaktanam Taya Pahita. They are big impediments. They are really big impediments. We have Amrish, the Ford owner now, who is a devotee himself. It takes a lot of mercy from the Lord, causeless mercy from the Lord, to have everything and still be detached. It's the question of being detached. What is it that I can give everything? What can I give Krishna? Everything he owns. That is what Bali Maharaj's wife tells when, as Vamana Devi, she begs forgiveness on behalf of Bali Maharaj. She says, he's being a fool, saying, I am going to give you everything. Who are we to give you everything? Who are we to renounce? Exactly what Srila Prabhupada said. What can we renounce? What can we give? Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. I own everything, Krishna is saying. When we use it in the service of Krishna, Yukta Vairagya, Prabhupada said. Prabhupada, that is why we have to follow instructions of the spiritual master. That is when we understand the import of it. It is not whether I have or I don't have. It is what I do with it, with what I have. It can be my skill, it can be my assets, it can be my money, it can be my people. What is it that I do with it? Do I use it for myself? Do I use it for Krishna? Irrespective of the position. I hope this clears.
Very clear, Mataji. So what you're telling is down to earth does not mean down in terms of everything, though it says in Shastra, but basically mentally we being down irrespective of having everything. So basically, so that means
down. I would rather say being humble. See, down can
I'm
be
using that
humble because humble because he's at least using me as an instrument. He chose me to be an instrument. There could have been there are so many other good speakers, but still he's chose me as an instrument to speak here today. That itself is causeless mercy.
Sure, Mataji. But then why is it difficult? So that is why they say that if you have everything, it is more difficult because we need more mercy of Krishna. When you don't have anything or when you have problems, it's easier to approach. Is in that context, is it what which you explain?
Context is like when the child doesn't see the mother, the way it cries out is more intense. When everything is too hunky-dory, that's how Indra always gets bewildered, because everything is too hunky-dory. It is little difficult to imagine yourself in a poverty-stricken situation and then call out for Krishna. When everything is there, the way you call out to Krishna is definitely different. It is, we all experience that. It can be in terms of health, money, or when something is really needed, the way we cry out is definitely. And then, of course, with practice, that can also happen. We can start crying out in spite of having everything. With the Guru's mercy, we can still cry out for Krishna in that intensity. So, Indradumna, His Holiness Indradumna Maharaj says, ISKCON is a society of crying.
Yes.
Crying for crying because I cannot cry. Because I don't know how to cry. So I try to cry. This Prabhupada says. Hare Krishna.
Sure. Thank you so much, Mataji. And sorry for totally taking a different topic, but this has always been in my mind, but it sort of healed a lot of my confusion. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, would you like to take another, like 3 people are there?
If it's okay for them, I'm okay. I have.
Yeah, it's okay, Mataji. So Chandrika Mataji, you can ask.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandat Pranam. Mataji, I don't have any queries, but on request, Mataji has mentioned 16 energies, 16 types of energies. Anyone is able to share that one in the WhatsApp group?
I'll send it to Narani Kupa Mataji. She will share it in the group.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Sure, Mataji. Chintamani Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandat Pranam. Mataji, the discussion is going in the same direction where I wanted to ask my question, but I have, another doubt, in fact, a question, that our individual identity, like we are a soul, we have a will, the limited, and with that will, what we can do. So I'm not saying that will I'm able to utilize in serving Krishna. For example, earlier I used to go, I wake up at 3:30 or 4 o'clock, go to Mangalarati. I had a nice shift, 9 to 6, but over a period of time, my shift has changed. I'm working till middle of the night, sleeping at 1 o'clock, 12:30. And I started losing, going to the Mangalarati in the temple. Earlier, people were saying, "Oh, you are so good, you are doing this and that." I used to take pride, so I'm doing nice bhakti. So now, sudden changes in the lifestyle, and the Prabhuji told, "Okay, you should not be, losing your sleep. You should sleep 6 hours, 5 hours. Okay, that's okay. You're losing Mangalarati. You can do something else, some other seva." I said, "Okay," but I started feeling that I'm losing my devotion to Krishna and then everything, because I'm not attending Mangalarati. I'm not able to wake up. I'm just giving an example, Mataji. It's a personal. So I felt like crying. What should I do? I shifted nearby the temple for this purpose only. I want to attend Mangalarati. This is the only thing which I really like in ISKCON, and it's so attractive. It was not happening, so I said, what to do? I have to change a job, but changing a job, it's not easy in the Corona time. Then I really begged, stand.
Very tall question.
Yeah.
Somebody
so I begged Prabhupada, you can only do. So even I keep alarm, but I was not able to wake up. But now, since I given everything to him, everything is happening. He is waking me up without even alarm. I'm going, he's giving me energy. Everything is given away.
Yeah.
So my question is, my individual, the will, I'm unable to use. That also is being, being handled by him. He only empowering what I am doing with my own individual, whatever I have. Without him, nothing is moving.
Yes.
So sometimes you say, right, we have our individual willpower. We should utilize that willpower in serving Krishna, doing devotional service. But I don't think anything is happening without. I'm really sorry.
No. It's nice to hear. Reiterates our faith. You have asked. I don't think you asked any question. You have asked. You answered your question also. If you refer to chapter 12, 16 shloka of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Anipeksha Shuchir Daksha Udasino Gatavyata Sarvaramba Parityagi Yo Mad Bhakta Same Priya. My devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure expert without cares, free from all pains, and not striving for some result, is very dear to me. He is not dependent on ordinary course of activities. Like for example, you are not dependent on the alarm for you to wake up at 3:30 for Mangalarti. You are dependent on the Lord. So very nice realization. Thank you for sharing that. It gave a practical aspect of what we were trying to discuss all this way. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mother.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for wonderful session and for wonderful question answers. So, yeah, Mataji, you were saying something?
No, I think we can close for the day. That's all.
Yeah, okay. So we will end the session here, Mataji, by doing Vaishnava Pranam.
Vancha kalpatarubhishya krita sindhubhyo patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo anantakoti vaishnavvrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Wonderful example.
Wonderful session.
Wonderful
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.